reports of my demise have been greatly exaggerated. That being said, welcome back to the shipyard. Today, the Vulcans live long and prosper. Yeah, I know it's been a while. I had talked about the Cardassian Union. That's kind of the last time y'all have heard from me, at least on this channel. Uh, but we're here and we're talking about Vulcans. And before you go running away screaming, no, the Vulcans are back and they're good. So we're going to kick things off with a bang. The USS Tacumbra. This is the Nebula class that we saw in Deep Space Nine. Take me out to the Holosuite. Campy episode. I love it. I love baseball. I know baseball isn't for everyone, and that episode's weird, but you know what? It was fun. Still, Nebula class. Nebula class is pretty good, at least intriguing. Um, but this ability, all Vulcan captains, admirals, and crew upgrades equipped to this ship cost -1 point. Okay, nice little discount there. Not that Vulcans have fantastic admirals, but they have some interesting captains, especially in this pack. Crew are okay, but take that away because a little discount's fine. When this ship performs a scan action, place an additional scan token beside this ship. If you've watched my Action Academy, like lecture series video, you know that scan is probably the worst individual action you can take, at least in my opinion. But here, getting 2 scan tokens, now we're talking. Now we're really punching through defenses and we're enabling combos. There's a lot of ways that you can utilize 2 scan tokens. And when you do that, I'm thinking of Spock and Valtane. I'm thinking there's captains that use scan tokens, and there's a lot of play with moving scans around, especially in this pack, and we'll get into those. But I love the Tacumbra. I've seen it used in a lot of good ways, very good ways. So the maneuver dial for the Tacumbra, the Nebula classes, is viable. 2 white turns are okay. This only a 90 forward firing arc hurts. Hurts a lot, actually, but sometimes you just got to put up with it. All right, we're not talking about generics at this point, but the USS Intrepid. This is a Constitution class, and we've seen the Intrepid before, so a different version of it. But it's 3143 free action. Love free actions. Place an Ox power token beside this ship and target a friendly ship within range 1 to 2. Place a scan token and an evade token beside this ship and the target ship. Okay. Now now there's all kinds of ways that you can benefit from multiple scan tokens, evades. You can get a scan beside the Enterprise A to enable more shenanigans that way. An evade token for certain abilities that trigger off of evades. You can now get multiple evade tokens. I still don't think that's the best way to evade things, but you can get scan tokens on faction ships that don't have a scan action. Still won't help you with cloaked minds, but it's okay. And it's a Constitution class, and Constitution classes are reasonably priced. This is not much of a discount from what it was. This Constitution used to be 22, now it's down to 20, but it's still viable, especially with a 180 firing arc, and pretty maneuverable for that 180. All right. We get the Vishar. The Vishar is a Dakir class, so that's the Vulcan with a 180 forward and a 90 rear. Also viable there. Combat phase. So just to start a combat phase, spend a scan token from beside this ship. The next attack this ship makes with its primary weapon this game round ignores the defending ship's shields. So we've seen some weapons that will bypass enemy shields. Here is a ship that's essentially saying, hey, I get to just ignore your shields. Now, I think this is a classic ship to put Type 8 and upgraded phasers on. Yes, you got to get a second weapon slot on there. But Vulcan's a sub-faction of Federation, so you're not paying those extra points. Sakona would work as a means to get those weapon slots, and you can make that work. There are also some other ways to do to enhance your primary weapon value, but I like those because you're getting a set value of 5 every single time you make an attack, and 5 attack dice going through the shields, that's going to hurt eventually. And even if you're running into cloaked ships, then you just don't use this ability. You keep your scan token, you roll less, or you make them roll less defense dice, and you've got your quality there. Pair the Vishar up with the Intrepid, and now you've got a bonus scan, or you can still have your action for Battle Station. It's a good thing overall. Downside of the Dakir, of course, is really tough to turn. But when you have this 180 arc, that makes it playable. We get another Dakir, the Kashara. A little cheaper than the Vishar, right? The Vishar is 25 because it's a fantastic named ability. The Kashara, also an interesting named ability. When attacking during the modified attack dice step, if there is a scan token beside the ship, convert up to 2 battle station results into 1 hit each. So that can be 2 battle stations into 2 hits or 1 into 1. But yeah, I like the passive conversion. It's kind of like a mini Spock. And that lets you run Spock on a different ship, and that's useful. I don't hate the ability. I don't love the ability. I think it's a viable ability. I'm not gonna run out and say, "Ooh, this is the best thing ever." No, but it's a nice benefit, and it lets your scan do more. So I will certainly go with, hey, it's playable, and I like the upgrade layout here, getting 2 crew, 1 tech versus 1 crew and 2 tech on the Vishar. So, yeah, good stuff. Generic ships, we're just kind of going to go past them because we've talked about them before. Discounted Dakir is nice at 19 instead of at 3, 4, 9, 12, 24. So, bit of savings there. But, I'm more excited about cheaper named Vulcan ships. All right, some captains here. T'Pol. And T'Pol always fitting of a Vulcan captain card. Combat phase. Choose, evade, or battle station tokens. You may spend scan tokens as though they were the chosen type of upgrade this combat phase. Now, T'Pol combos with other cards in this pack that get you multiple scan tokens, and then you can have multiple evade tokens. And I like that she's passive. She just works, and she can make you pretty tough to kill, or if you get a whole bunch of attacks, then you can get a whole bunch of quality on them with battle stations. But I think her natural fit is evades and just continuing to live. Now, to POW, in phase, if this ship has a scan token beside it, replace 1 scan token with an evade and a battle station token, and these don't get removed this end phase. So this lets your scan do more. There's a theme here, right? The Vulcans are saying, hey, your scan does more. And I think this is a really good ability for a skill 5 captain. Little pricey at 4 points, but she's essentially giving you bonus actions next round. Your scan is useful this time, and later on, you're good for more. I think there's some tricks with her. You could run her on a cloaking ship with an intrepid support so that you're casting your scan over to her ship, and then you're converting it into that evade and battle station for next turn so that you're staying alive longer. and then you've got battle station quality. I think it's a little finicky, but I think there's something there. She might be more mission playable than like full OP play, but I still think there's something intriguing about the way that she works, and I like it. Sometimes when I say something's mission playable, it's kind of like, it's relegated down there. No, she would be like at the top of mission play, very intriguing ways to accomplish a specific feature and make more out of what's happening. Solok, and Solok's intriguing here. Perform action step. When this ship performs a scan action, target an opposing ship with a face down maneuver dial. So somebody who hasn't moved yet, higher captain skill. Now they have to be within range 1 to 2 of you. Look at that target ship's maneuver dial and perform a sensor echo action as a free action using a 1 maneuver, even if you're not cloaked. So I like Solok. Because maneuvering, positioning is really important in this game. And if you have good spatial awareness and you can say, okay, they're going to move there, and that means they're going to have a shot on me. And if I echo, I could make them bump, right? And that'll mess up their whole action sequence. Or I can move out of the way and then they won't have a shot on me at all. I think there's some play there. So, again, perhaps maybe more suited for missions, but I still like what exists. And I think there's something to consider with Solok. All right, our last captain is Murok. Murok also a skill 7 captain, but at 3 points. That's kind of cheap for skill 7, so might be worth having a cheaper high skill captain. When attacking during the modify attack dice step, if there's a scan token beside the ship, convert a blank into a hit. If the defending ship has an independent captain equipped to it, convert a blank into a crit instead. Now, Murok is built as Andorian hate. But since Andorians are lumped in to independent, you get the benefits of your cons, your cars. Fleet captains, if those exist where you're playing, if you brought those back in the independent versions, make the captain dual faction or tri-faction, but they add the independent faction to your captain. So that's something to consider. But there's actually a fair number of good independent captains that people run. Calvin Hudson, if nothing else. And I like the targeting doesn't happen at the beginning. So this is just if you're shooting at them, then you get that blank into crit conversion. And if you're running a Vulcan ship, you're typically wanting to scan anyways because you have other combos. And why not get an extra passive conversion built in? It's a good thing. All right. Breaking into the elite talents, we have Live Long and Prosper. Has to go on a Vulcan ship with a Vulcan captain. Activation phase. Discard this card. Target an opposing ship at range 1 to 2. Roll 4 defense dice. If there's at least 3 evades, this ship and the target ship cannot attack this game round. Math. This is where I question if WizKids, playtester, whoever made the final call on this phrasing, wording, understands probability. It is a situation where, as a discard, yeah, I understand it's not an action, but as a discard, it hurts to pay 3 points and have to roll a 3 out of 8 3 times in 4 chances. It's not good odds. I haven't actually worked out the odds, but it's not good odds. I'd be fine with, if it fails, you maybe have to put 2 time tokens on it, so you can't do it every single round. and then you don't discard it. Because even then, making it so you can't attack and a target ship can't attack, that's not really that big of a deal. Maybe it is in mission play, but not in competitive play. This card just has problems. Speaking of a card that has problems, logic is the beginning of wisdom. We're just going to hit the nail on the head here. Vulcan Captain, Vulcan Ship, activation phase, target a ship, range 1 to 2, place a time token, continuous effect token, or permanent effect token from this ship, or a card equipped to the ship, onto the target ship, or a card equipped to the target ship of the same type. Alright, time tokens. I am perfectly happy moving time tokens around, and if that's all this card did, I'd be happy. And that is not confusing at all. I can take my time tokens and move them over to you and make you have to deal with the time tokens that I've built into my fleet. And you probably haven't gotten the same ways of dealing with time tokens. Continuous effect tokens and permanent effect tokens are weirder things because they are inconsistently handled in the design of the game. With that being said, I'm not going to dwell on it. I have heard that clarification on this card is coming, and so I'm going to let clarification exist whenever it exists. Hopefully it is soon. But for now, use it just for the time tokens, and it works quite nicely. It's a nice 2-point card that works at the start of every activation phase. And you can move time tokens from your weapons. There's a nice weapon on the To Boldly Go or Boldly Go pack that puts 3 time tokens on a weapon, and you can move them off of your weapon and onto an enemy weapon, and now they don't have access to their weapon for 2 more rounds. This round and next round. And that will mess with them probably. Alright. A Vulcan weapon that I actually like. The photonic autocannon. Has to go on a Vulcan ship. Can only be fired from the forward or rear arc. That's not a big deal. Most Vulcan ships have at least 180, if not 270 coverage. If this ship has a scan token beside it, place 3 time tokens on this card, target imposing ship. And you convert all battle stations into hits. Thank you. This is fantastic, and it only costs 3 points, and it's bumping you up to 5 dice. So what if it doesn't let you attack at range 1? Who cares? It gives you rear arc coverage. This is fantastic. This is great. This is the answer to Dakir's problems. I'm not exaggerating. This card is wonderful. And I've seen it used to great effect. I believe Chris Peters ran it in one of our Reformation tournaments and did quite well with it. So there is some evidence to back it up at a high competitive level. So Photonic Autocannon is here to stay. Very simple card, very powerful card. The F Particle Beam gives you 4 dice, range 1 to 3 from your rear arc. Secondary arc, but it's a rear arc, people. Alright, attack, place 2 time tokens on this card, target an opposing ship. So it's every other round. But for 2 points, it's not bad coverage at all. It's perfectly reasonable. So yeah, I like the F Particle Beam. I might have liked to have seen a 3-die 1-point version. Maybe even if it was a 4-die range 1 to 2 or something. But I'd like to see a 1-point version of the card. That's me being greedy because sometimes I only have 1 point and I still want rear coverage. But you know what? I'll take this for what it is. Right. The science vessel variant, right? We've had the combat vessel variant. So here's the science vessel variant. You cannot equip the combat vessel variant, right? It makes sense. You can only have 1 vessel variant on your ship. Add 1 to this ship's agility and hull value. Can only go on a Dakir or Surok class. Costs you 4 points. I feel like this needed to be 3 points, or if it was going to be 4, it needed to give me something else. Maybe the tech slot back, a free bonus tech slot, maybe a crew slot, maybe a +1 to my captain skill, because Vulcan's doing what they do best with science-y stuff. Yeah, that's what I would have liked to have seen. Hey, that's design space. Tech that boosts your captain skill. No. It's okay. I just don't know that it outweighs the combat vessel variant. So, all right. More tech. Translinear sensors. When attacking during the roll defense dice step, if there is a scan token beside this ship, place 3 time tokens on this card. The defending ship may not roll more than 2 defense dice this round. Boy, that hurts cloaking. That really hurts cloaking. Yeah, you got to have that scan token, so that's a big if. But, I like it. I like that it's not a discard. It's time tokens, so it's going to be tough to make multiple use out of it. But, it's a pretty good card, and it's relatively well priced. I don't know that I'd change the price on it. I like it at 3. I think if you put it at 2, everybody's running it, and if you put it at 4, nobody's running it. So I think 3 is fair. All right. The Stone of Gaul. Gaul? I've always heard it as Gaul. But place 3 time tokens on this card and target a crew upgrade equipped to an opposing ship. Roll a number of attack dice equal to the printed cost of the target crew. If at least 1 crit is rolled, discard the target crew. Otherwise, place 1 time token on that crew for each hit. It's a nice action. It's a little risky, but I find this pretty effective crew removal. Little bummed that it's range 1 only, but it fits a nice slot in tech. And I'm good with that. And there are times you actually don't want to roll the crit. You want to roll a whole bunch of hits and just time token them into oblivion. But still, typically forcing a discard is better. But sometimes they have discard prevention. And then you're like, well, if I can just put like 5 time tokens on you, or 3 time tokens even, then it's going to hurt you to not have your crew for longer rather than just have to burn one of your protections. All right, the Graviton Telescope. When attacking during the deal damage step, if there is a scan token beside the ship, disable this card at a hit. This goes into cards, a build like Chemosite and Kang from the Blood Oath pack that just add hits, add dice in after the fact. I think it's a reasonable card. I don't love that it's a disable. I would prefer it as time tokens, personally. This also goes to show how broken Chemosite is, and just to remind you what Chemosite does, it allows you to increase the speed of your maneuver by 2 while maintaining the same color, and you can discard it to add a hit. You've got choice there, and it still costs 2 points. So this is a conditional Chemosite without the maneuver control, but still costs 2 points. It's not that I dislike Graviton Telescope, it's that Chemosite's way too good. All right. The Catrick Arc has to go on a Vulcan ship. When a Vulcan crew upgrade equipped to the ship is discarded, place that crew upgrade beneath this card. Action, remove this card from play. Equip 1 crew upgrade beneath this card to the ship. Discard all other crew upgrades beneath this card. All right. So we haven't talked about Vulcan crew. And so Catrick Arc kind of depends on the Vulcan crew that you're running. And there's some Vulcan crew that are actually worthwhile. There aren't many old ones. I'd say Koss is reasonably good. Again, I'll pull up Koss. Koss is a prevention. You can't be targeted by stuff. Koss protects you. Koss is probably one of the best Vulcan crew. But Vulcan, the Vulcan faction, and since we're talking about specific Vulcan crew upgrades, Vulcans have really good tech, and now at least a nice weapon. But they don't have great personas. They don't have great captains. They have decent captains. They don't have great crew, Koss being an exception. They just kind of exist. So Catrick Arc is going to get better if we ever see more Vulcan crew. I think there's more Vulcan crew out there to be added to the game. But until those exist, Catrick Arc just kind of sits there and says, I'm okay, I'm very situational. All right, I believe our last tech is combat vessel variant. You can't put it on science vessel variant. All right. Replace this ship's primary weapon value with its printed primary weapon value +1. That's actually very important because remember, we replace, then modify, and you're limited to a +3 of modifications. So you can actually replace and make it a 4 and then go up to 7. Whereas you can't modify from a 3 up to a 7. So that's something. I don't mind paying 2 points for that. Not at all. So even without any kind of bonuses or anything, I like the combat vessel variant exactly where it's at. All right. Some Vulcan crew. So T'Pau gets the Vulcan Stone of Gaul face down underneath her. So remember the Stone of Gaul was the target a ship, or target a crew upgrade. So T'Pau is essentially the carrier of getting rid of crew. After the ship moves, discard this card, target imposing ship, discard 1 tech upgrade equipped to the target ship, then flip the Stone of Gaul, upgrade under T'Pau face up, and equip it to this ship, ignoring restrictions. So, kind of why not? Because you just get to discard a tech on a target ship. I don't know what you'd necessarily get rid of. Maybe you get rid of Chemosite. That would be fantastic. Maybe you get rid of shield adaptation. Maybe you get rid of improved deflectors. Improved deflector screen, IDS. There's a bunch. There's some good tech that you can actually take out. So, yeah, I think T'Pau is very playable. Very, very, very playable. All right, Vork. Vork's one of these Vulcan crew that I actually do like. When defending, put 3 time tokens on this card. Remove a target lock token or a battle station token beside the attacking ship. Place a scan token beside this ship. Situational, right? The natural combination is to pair Vork with T'Pau. T'Pau. The Vulcan captain that turns a in-phase scan into the evade in the battle station. And when you have that, then you don't care when Vork is actually using this ability. Be it early, to actually have the scan token for your attack, or late, where that scan token's turning into a battle station and an evade for next round. So, yeah, I think Vork has a nice place. And plus, if you can get rid of a target lock token, that can mess up somebody's plans. If you can get rid of a battle station token off of a Sao Paulo, that will also mess up some plans. So, yeah, Vork's a nice spanner in the works card. All right, Chulak. Sounds more Klingon, but maybe it's Chulak. Free action. Place 3 scan tokens beside this ship. Sounds great. I'm in. But in phase, if you use Chulak's free action, you must discard one crew upgrade equipped to this ship. So you can put on some cheap crew, right? Followers of Khan, or some meaningless crew once the game gets started. Gen Cisco, Sakona, stuff like that. But most of your ships are not going to have tons of extra crew slots. So this is kind of where the Catrick Arc comes into play, so that you can get a crew back in. You might consider running a Dominion crew and add some shrouds in there, so you can discard a Dominion crew, thus discarding shroud. Because your Vulcan ships are going to have more tech slots. It's a gimmicky build. I think I'd rather just get a whole bunch of scan tokens for a couple of alpha strikes. Run this on the Vishar, I think it is. Yeah, the Vishar, where you're spending a scan token to make sure your primary weapon bypasses shields. And I think that's probably the best play for Chulak, because not only are you spending one to bypass shields, you still have 2 scan tokens to bypass most of their defenses. That's a really powerful combo there. And if you stack in one more crew, you can discard the other crew. Now you've got Chulak to run one more time. You discard Chulak again in the end phase. You've done that twice. You should have made a good dent in whatever ship you took on. Or 2 ships. All right. Ambassadors. So we have not talked about ambassadors on this channel. And actually don't think I'm going to. What I'm going to do is do a video on all 6 of the ambassadors that exist. Know that they exist, and a video is coming shortly for that. But since this video is already past the half-hour mark, we will get there. So, my overall thoughts. The Vulcan faction pack brings Vulcans back to the highs of competitive play. I don't think Vulcans alone are strong enough to run as a competitive faction, but I do think that this pack is worth getting. There are solid ships, solid abilities here. There's a solid weapon in the pack, for goodness sakes. And there's very interesting tech and other things that make this a must-buy. I'm not even going to say a should-buy. I think this is a must-buy. If you have any interest in thematicism, in competitive play, in Federation, Vulcan, Andorians whatsoever, then you need to get this. All right? Yeah, that's it for me. Thank you all for watching. Appreciate it. And until next time, we will see you around the shipyard. Take care.